the elimination match between Albino and Garnath. One player that was able to qualify through points. One player that was able to qualify through the last chance qualifier. Both players representing teams Aftermath versus 3D Clan. But spawning up in the north are red celestial player known as Garnath. The doggo sees this. Check it out. What are you doing over here? Where are you going? We know where he's going. There's a pocket. There's a pocket over here. We're going to watch him do this little proxy this time. Look at this. Doggo coming over here. Oh, I'm getting distracted. Spawning down here in the south. Our blue Vanguard player representing Aftermath. He is Albino. All right. The doggo's checking. Being annoying. So here's how this works. If you keep right-clicking on this, it delays the Luminite mine from coming out. But we're going for a big setup. This is our forward location. Basically, this base is not going to be used for anything. But the whole reason we're going for this big setup here is to take over and utilize the camp. That's like just free money, right? Watch Garnath's resources continue to climb up here as he's, taking out more and more of these creep camps. Using the morph core to help him creep it as well. Boop, boop, boo. And we're going to set up for this little location here. Taking out those slimes. Now, in the meantime, more morph cores are getting produced because this is like our, hey, we get to turn these into buildings, but it also helps us with this kind of creeping tactic. We were able to kill the dog as well. So Albino kind of in this like, all right, setup here. All right, he's going to be, got hit with a nice reveal, so we know exactly what he's doing, which is the dog opening, which is a very common thing to see from Vanguard players because of how fast and mobile it is. You kind of get out there. Ooh, there's a little bit of a healing flower. You can have your Lancer grab. But it's very fast, very mobile, allows you to kind of get as much information as possible. All right, and we're set up here. The doggo's keeping track of everything here. All right. In the meantime, creation chamber is up. We've got our Argents up and running. So now you might think, I should be able to get in here and do some harassment and attack this. And yeah, but it's really risky, all right, to get into this base because your only way in is this pathway, and it's easy to trap somebody in here when they go for that. So we see kind of this like cut off the map, right? We're basically creating a line in the sand that says, this is my pathway here between creep camps to stop you from getting over here. So really, really strong. Our doggos, of course, still out and about, running around. And look at this, going exactly where he knows these healing flowers are going to be located or where they're most commonly located here, all right? And now getting back in, utilizing our Lancer's little level up ability. If you're not as familiar with the Vanguard, because we've been watching a lot of Celestial, we've been watching a lot of Infernals today. They do have this level up ability. As they continue to get more and more ranks, they get to go from rank 1 to rank 2, to rank 3. They get, of course, more health, more damage, more armor, making your troops stronger. This not only counts for your Lancers, your Exos, but also your doggos can get leveled up that way too. You can see they're kind of XP bar there, and Argents will take this over. So they both kind of like swap spots, right? And we see this, okay, I'll take over this. The doggos continue to be active and moving because you don't want to be standing still too long in certain RTSs. This is one of it. Same like with the Warcraft 3 creeping aspect. You want to be active and you want to be moving as much as possible. Look at this. Argent's going to take over the right side, take over the center, and they're going to try to move their way in here. But BioConnect's lab bringing out, we're going to get the upgrades going for Exos, giving them bonus movement speed, which is really nice. So we're transitioning into the Exos now. We already got a couple out here to help us out. We've got, of course, our sentry post coming down here, which we could be able to throw one of our Exos in there, turn that into a flat cannon, which is really powerful. Good, strong DPS there. Or need be, you can throw a Bob in there and it becomes a repair thing. Or in the meantime, it's just a little tickle sentry bot. Big repair coming down here, though. Look at this Morph Core. He's saying, let's get in your face here. I'm making this my new forward location. And he's locking down, really going for this hard contain here. Flat Cannon is set up here, and we're going to try to push this and try to deny it. Bob's getting pulled off the line here to try to put a stop to this here. Arc Ship coming to help add some extra power, and we need that power here to help us out. Now, more troops going to get rallied in here, and he's saying, nope. Let's go. Link node coming in here. Let's get this set up here and get this powered up here to the strike nodes. And we're going, locking in, super hard contain, trying to get into our opponent's face and really shut this down. And look, Bob's getting pulled off the line to try to help out. And they're dealing a little bit of extra damage in the process. And even actually just putting them kind of on this like stop location here for a second just to try to trap some more troops in here. But the Exos getting that extra DPS. Look at that boost that they get here moving forward here, allowing them to really kind of micro their way around. But you lost all your Bobs to be able to do this, to try to stop this from coming up here. Exo's still left alive here. More and more link nodes getting added in to help kind of use this as your forward location, but the Bobs are dead. The flat cannon's up. The Exos are up. So the army is still here and holding the line here. Even though we lost so many Bobs, we're not dead because we're holding it. We're taking out this forward location and saying, no, this is my side of the map. You cannot come up here and get in my face and try to get away with this for the price of for free. I'm going to make you lose so many resources to commit to this, and I'm going to keep my army left alive in this. And GG's called. Garnath has to tap out. He committed to this forward location, and it was not enough. The Exos were too much to deal with. So we see Albino take an early 1-0 lead in this series. What a start. What a start to this. I mean, I like that plan, right? We've talked about this before, is you have these ladder strategies or these builds that you do that have worked so well, that have killed so many people in practice, have killed so many people on ladder, that you go, yes, I've practiced this build. I know it's strong. Let's go for it again. Let's try to take out this unit here. And it worked out pretty well, but we saw Albino was willing to sacrifice the Bobs to make something happen here, to make sure that he could be able to clean up and take out and stop all of those Argents from dealing the damage, allowing the Exos to sit there and micro and utilize their DPS to pick off what he needed to there. So really, really nice to see. Good timing for it, but not enough to really kind of lock down and get the win there. So nice defense for Albino to take the first series. This is the best of 5. Both players have a chance to kind of adapt and see how players play in game 1. I like the idea of going for aggressive openings too. Test the waters. How are your defenses? Do you crumble under this? Could I just do this a bunch and just get quick wins? Or do I have to try to force us into a longer game? So game 1 goes to Albino. Game 2 coming up next. We're going to Lost Hope. Shifting gears over into game 2 now. So Lost Hope is a nice, fun one to play. I like Lost Hope. It's a go-to Celestial map. If you are playing as a Celestial player, you're going to want to learn Lost Hope. It's one of your best maps in the map pool here. If you're playing as, of course, a Vanguard player, as a Infernal player, you're going to have a harder time here. But let's get into it. Spawning up here in the north. Currently up 1-0 in this best of 5. He is known as Albino. And his opponent spawning in the south, representing the Celestials, he is Garnath. All right, this is going to make things even more interesting because we have vertical spawns, so completely up and down. All right, so that means that if this location is going to be something that players try to take, like a 4th base that would be Garnath's 4th base, it's very easy to harass and mess with and start to take out. So game's still early. Players are still figuring out builds and finding ones that fit best with their play styles here. So we got to see a very aggressive start with the creation chambers last time, basically cutting a line from creep camp to creep camp. We'll see if there's going to be something similar this time around. Now, we're not going for the same sort of like proxy up that we saw against the Infernal. Part of that is because it's so easy to get out Exos, and Exos are so powerful. But we are seeing a Kree design for this time. So research and rollout gives Krees that rollout ability, increase their movement speed and their armor while they're not attacking. In the meantime, the normal creep up using the Lancers, using the Doggos here to kind of get out on the map. Let's get some healing going and start creeping up and taking advantage on our side of the map. So one thing that is nice is it's okay to stay on one base for a little while. Build up your economy. Feel like you're getting enough resources to move out, but you want to rely on the creep camps to get that extra resource boost to allow you to take your expansion. The Kree, though, going to help us to do our creep in here. Got to get the healing flower helping us out. Now we've got the rollout ability, getting that extra armor here, making things easier. Kree also have this added bonus that they get where if they were to die, they turn into bombs. Right? They stand still and they explode after 3 seconds. Deals a little bit of damage. Not an overwhelming amount, but enough that it actually has an impact if you're not paying attention. In this case, I don't foresee that being a thing because both these players are, made it to the top 4 of the Alpha Navigator Cup final. So they both know what they're doing in this game and both taking advantage of the creep camps that they've got. And part of that is moving around. Now, Garnath didn't have to scout to know where his opponent was, right? He knew 100% confirmation because this camp was taken. But look at this. Kree moving in here, going to try to get something happen. But, oh, check it out. We've got a Hornet already out here and says, hey, you didn't go for the Argent build this time, and I was the one that teched up. I've got my Hangar Bay. I've got my Hornet. And look, Doggo's going to try to get the trap, and we'll be able to get the surround on a lot of them, allowing that Hornet to do that extra DPS there. Look at this. Ping. Let's heal up. Let's get ready. So now, how do we respond? You've committed resources to getting set up here, right? You've committed to getting the Kree. Are we going to be stuck all in? Can we pivot? Can we start getting the Argents and start getting the upgrades for them? It's going to be hard on one base. So we're going to keep our opponent distracted here and kind of get in here and do some harassment. In the meantime, we had our Hornet come over, start to get some damage, right? They can start harassing and dealing damage to the prisms. You see the prisms are low health, but this is that kind of how much damage can I do? Well, second Hornet has arrived here. We've got this one, of course, very, very hurt, but it doesn't really matter at this point because the Kree have destroyed the economy. Look at this. The Doggo's coming in here, but how many bombs are left? Like none. We've got a few, though, but where are the rest of the Hornets? We're in repair mode. One is tickling these units, but that's the kind of nice benefit of getting that upgrade that you can start to roll out here. And look, he's a bomb. Look out. Oh, extra damage getting off from the bomb explosions here, but you are now left in shambles. Oh, my gosh. He's got, no resources. He almost was stuck in that position of not having enough to really be able to kind of keep producing units here, but you now were able to kill all the Kree. Oh, Cabals, we're getting in there, building up the energy here, so we're getting that shift here, right? Going for the Kree, we're getting additional spellcasters coming in here to help us out. You hear the jets of those Hornets. Oh, we've got the Sovereign's Watch coming in. We'll be able to start dealing some extra damage. Look how slow they move. Oof. Powered up. Get it home. Yeah, that's the benefit of having this debilitating ability here, right? Unit is reduced attack damage, attack speed, and movement speed. So the power of the Cabal, if you will, the power of the spellcasters that our Celestial player has access to. So right now, that advantage meter is leaning over on Garnath's side. He was able to have a successful attack on the economy, was able to deal quite a bit of damage to the bombs, keep his opponent stuck on one base in this high-tech build that he has decided to go for. Now, we are still on one base as well, but we're setting up and we're in a better spot to build up into our second base soon. We've got a strong, powerful defense building up here. We've got a lot of Kree starting to roll out here. And, oh, he caught him. Look at this. That tether, that gravity flux here pulled this guy to the ground. More and more Hornets getting added in, and he's going to go right for that one. Cabal pulls another one. The Hornet runs away, but this is such a tough position here for Albino. He GG's out. He says, all right, enough. I've lost 2 Hornets. I was all in on these Hornets. I got nothing left here. You did great. GG's. Let's GG go next, right? Very, very strong. Very, very good to see Garnath identify things like you go, okay, should he transition into a different tech route here? Should he start going for the Argents? And yes, but he found a better route to go for. He said the Cabals have so many abilities that I could be able to utilize in this situation here. I could sit here and do the tether ability. I can slow down your units. I can really put you on the back foot here and really kind of capitalize on that to utilize my Kree that I've been upgrading to get to the next stage in the game. But the biggest thing was the Kree run by into the main base, destroying the economy, right? The dogs were out creeping. The one Lancer that he had gotten were out sitting there and creeping. So he wasn't really positioned to defend that Kree run by into the main base, and it destroyed all of the Bobs. That extra damage they got, the rollout stuff, worked out great. But part of that was Albino was teching up, going for this Hornet tech up, which would have been great knowing your opponent was going for the Kree, but they don't do as much damage in low numbers. You've got to really have the power to build them up into the higher counts. So kind of risky to go for this build, but it works out better on that map because it's a bigger map, so it makes sense why that option for the Hornets there. So now we're going to be switching it up into Titan's Causeway here. So leads very well for that kind of very aggressive openings for dogs into the hedgehogs instead of Hornets, but we'll see. We'll see if that is the case here going into game number 3. All tied up 1-1 here in our last match of the day, Albino versus Garnath. And we've got spawning up in the north, tying the series up, representing 3D Clan. He is Garnath. And his opponent spawning in the south, representing Team Aftermath, our blue Vanguard player, Albino. Open it up just like you normally would. We're going to get that Lancer. We're going to transition into doggos after that. In the meantime, our doggo is out scouting, getting information. Our forward location going to be tucked back at this natural here with a creation chamber. If you're not as familiar with Titan Causeway, let's talk a little bit about it. It is a very focused map on the vertical ways, going either straight up or straight down, depending on where you're located. So in Garnath's position here, he's going to focus on moving down this corridor here where all the camps are located. All right, you've got your health camp, you've got your vision camp, and even your additional resource here with the Therium Tower. This also leads us to our additional bases. A lot of players will try to go for this Luminite mines, especially the Celestial. It's very easy to kind of secure this location. Same sort of deal here. We will see kind of that progression going north in Albino's position, going for the health camps, going for theirs. There is that center location as well with the Illuminate Tower. It is blocked off, though. You need to get Bobs out there, chop down those trees to kind of get access to this location. Or take it over elsewhere using your Celestial Ascension abilities here. But there we go. Again, continuing utilizing our Lancer out early so we can start powering up and getting those additional ranks here. Doggo's getting in, added in extra DPS, extra little buffers here as our level ups matter. Now, Kree opening again this time around. It's going to be doing this little fight and kite over here to take over all of the healing camps. So instead of going straight up, we're going to see the stealing of the speed camp. The doggo is going to come in and confirm where we are on the creep tactics here. Look at this. He's going to stay here and fight and say, yeah, you need to creep, but I'm going to take this health camp here. In the meantime, we are going to be seeing, yeah, it's like, where is our next tech route? What are we going for? The hangar bay. This is going to be the risk. All right. Do we have it? Do we upgrade it? Yep, we already got the rollout. We're rolling on out. Are we going to go and sneak into the main base and be uncontested again? Yes, we're going just right in there. The rest of the army is trying to make their way back home here, and we're already attacking the Bobs. It's going to go into full-on scramble mode. Our hangar bay is not done yet, but this is going to be a little bit easier. There's only 2 Kree over here trying to get the harassment done First Hornet is on the way, and we were able to get our Buzzsaw Cannon up and running here. It's not as powerful as the Flat Cannon, but still works out very well if things get too crazy over here. We're on kind of mass repair mode as we continue to mine. Lots of dogs here. Going to keep an eye on things. Another Kree rolling in, so he's looking for this extra damage. Going to try to delay as much mining as possible. Like, if you can sit here and be able to stop this area, it reduces the amount of Hornets that get added into the mix. And look at this, powering them up. Let's go. Single targeting him down. Tries to get one more hit off. Is all he needs on this lone Kree here. And he will be able to... Oh, he stops right the last second. Oh, my gosh. And would have been able to have stopped him. But look at this. We see the fight over here. Catches a Kree. Will be able to continue to kite around and try to find him. But we found the healing factor instead. And the Kree escape. All except for this one that explodes. So, a little bit of a different defensive. Like, it's a smaller map in that regard, so you can easily get back into position instead of going on the other side of the map to have to sit there and creep. Your stuff is a little bit closer to home. So, additional hangar back production here. Hangar bays coming out here with more and more Hornets, but we've already got the Cabals to help support this. So, we're in this kind of defensive reaction. We know the units that we need to get to help fight this air style of play. Dogs trying to fight over the left-hand side for the speed camp, but Kree coming out and will be responding to this. And look at this. He's going to be jumping on top of this army. It is trying to go for the last hit on the creep camp, and Lancer was getting beat up. Will he get the flower here? Does get the healing flower. That's huge to be able to try to fight this, but look how slow he is. There's no way he's going to be getting away here with the Cabal chasing him down, making sure that he is slowed down. And look at this. Boom. The tickle beams coming, slowing him. He is not going anywhere. The Lancer does get cleaned up. All right, next set of Hornets moving out. Doggos have to be defensive, but it's basically one base versus one base right now. We see the Morph Core is set up to get ready to take this as a second base, though. And there is the collection array getting added to the mix here as we see more and more Kree added on for Garnath. But the Hornets coming out, looking for an angle to have to fight, and he found one. He's got to be careful. He's trying to park himself in a spot where he doesn't get caught by the Cabal. Fighting over, taking over this area. The Hornet's going to come in and get some extra damage. Will go for some last hits here. Forces the Kree away. And look at this. Boom. Quickly kills, gets out. The Cabal is building up its energy. Wants to get in here. Trap this unit, wants to get that kind of web ability to kind of lock him in place so he's not going to be able to fly away. But in the meantime, Hornets can fly over and start taking over the speed camp, start being able to harass and power up and level up. We got to see that. Boom. Rank 1 veteran now. Again, every time they rank up, more health, more damage. What do you think about that little, like, air jets that they've got going on here? And oh, catches the Morph Core. He wanted to be able to sit there. Look, gets the tether ability on him, so he's stuck there and will not be able to move for a little bit. That gravity flux. But he wasn't able to reposition and get over there in time, so this forces the Hornets away. He's got to be careful. More Cabals are here, and he's about to lose these if he's not careful. He's got to keep microing these around, and it's going to be a dangerous dance that these two players are in. In the meantime, we see all the Doggos building up over here, getting ready to kind of maneuver himself around, and we see this kind of fight and over the towers in the meantime. But you have to keep your Doggos back at home defensively for the time being in case a Kree army shows up, which we can see is slowly marching their way on the left-hand side. There is no base over here for them to take, though. We do not have any expansions currently. It's all relying on taking over those towers and building up a large enough count to stop him. Yeah, keeping up the reveal. Trying to make sure that there's no army coming. We know it's coming because we can see the towers getting taken. Oh, he's going to catch him. Oh, this is huge. If you can pounce on top of those Cabals, it's going to change the outcome of this battle. We got some explosions coming out here for the Kree, and you could just micro back knowing that you took out the Cabals, and the air superiority is going to reign supreme here for Albino as he takes over this entire side of his map, basically giving him information. You are free to expand. You're free to be aggressive now. You took out your opponent's army. Let's move in and make something happen. So we're going to go over, continue to get that big surge in resources from taking out this next camp. More and more Hornets getting added in, but we've already got a level 2 elite here. Big speed boost. Now, the debilitating rays of the Cabals slowing down the Hornets, but now that is done. Oh, catches a Kree. Hey, what are you doing out here? How are we responding to this? We're setting up. We're getting ready, getting our link nodes added in, more power banks to kind of lock in this location. We have one Cabal able, second Cabal able to help us out in this defensive mode. Of course, they are full energy thanks to the power of these power banks that have been set up inside of the main base. But yeah, again, it's very SimCity oriented on how you set up your base, it looks like. So if you like that playstyle, that's the way to go here. In the meantime, big reveal finally sees, oh, your base is up and running. You've got a big power up you're set up and ready for here. Kree tries to take over the speed camp. Will get cleaned up. Kree will move over, take over the watchtower, just kind of one at a time. So we will start to see Hornets moving around, getting himself set up, trying to find that next avenue. Doggo's moving up to the north, and we're now going to see that kind of north-south style take place. As one side will be red, one side will be blue, and we're going to have that kind of slice in the middle as both players try to fight over the speed camp. Observation camp taken out. Soon we'll be taking over the Therium Tower, but you don't want to be overcommitting and sending too many troops, right? The Exo transition is starting to get built up. It's low right now, but we need to get the upgrades done. The quick draw, we're going to be building up the higher numbers, which will make the biggest difference in our next fight. So keep a close eye on the Hornets. Keep a close eye on the Exos. We're also going to keep a close eye on the Cabals and their abilities. That slowdown ability is huge for this fight. The ability to tether those Hornets is huge. But in the meantime, they're in the main base. They're taking out the Prisms. We will end up losing one in the process with that Sovereign's Watch helping out to defend, but we were able to get some picks. And how well will the Exos deal with this? Keep an eye on it. We do see some slowdown on the Dogs. Their basic job here right now is to be a buffer, be a wall while the Exos deal the damage and stay further in the back, allowing the Cabals to get so much work done here. And we do see this nice little defensive position, holding position with the Bobs, stopping them to protect those Exos. There we see the Hornets coming in. We do see a bunch of them get tethered in there, but is it enough? So many Kree slicing and dicing, trying to deal so much damage, but there are not very much energy left on the Cabals. He's getting the last Hornet here. This is huge. The few Bobs trapped over there, trying to run the block to keep those Exos left alive, but it is not enough. GG is called. Garnath takes game number 3 here. What a series. What a series. Really nice positioning here. We got some good trade-off here. Good fights taking place here for Albino to try to get some angles and avenues to push himself further along, but it was that really relying on those spellcasters. Garnath really knows the Celestial well and understands the unit comps that he needed to help put him in a better position for that series. So now we got to see this kind of, hey, I'll slowly build up my count of Kree again. I'll slowly rely on my Cabals and really relying on them because the slow abilities on the Dogs, the slow abilities on the Exos, the slow abilities on the Hornets, and the tether on the Hornets is really what made the difference. I like the idea of going for Hornets in this matchup because if you can get them around the Prisms, you shred them, right? If your opponent tries to lift off their bases and try to fly away, they get shredded. I don't know if it's enough of a way to play right now. I like we've seen it twice and it has kind of worked, but the response from Garnath is like a great understanding of the gameplay and of the game to know this unit works really well against that unit. I can use this to help me out in this situation here, and that's been happening every single time. And he is currently down 0-2, representing Team Aftermath, our red Vanguard player known as Albino. His opponent, spawning in the south, currently up 2-1 in this series. He needs one more win to win the whole thing. He is known as Garnath, representing 3D Clan. All right, Doggo coming in, getting the scout and sees the creation chamber. Defensively inside the main base, ready for that next little bit of power up here. How will we see adjustments to the play. We're going for the same thing. Start with a Lancer, go for doggos after that. Dog wants to get in and just confirm everything. Okay, do you got the prisms? How you doing? Anything else? Ooh, the Guardian Nexus immediately right afterward. So it looks like we're going to see the same type of play here, which is that Kree opening, upgrades to the Kree are a little bit better, a little bit more powerful there, and ready to kind of move on from there. Bam, first Kree. Bonus damage versus light, which is really good because we've got a bunch of light units, right? The scouts in here are light. I mean, Lancers are heavy, but if you know your opponent has been going for heavier dogs, that makes it easier. So, like, we see a little bit of a pivoting here. We're already getting an additional Lancer added in. You know, having a heavier bio force and less dogs is that response that we're looking for, right? It's identifying, oh, you're going to be going for these Kree opening. You've been going it every single round against me. Oh, bye, chicken. So let's adjust our play and get more and more units coming out, more and more Lancers, because they're heavier. They're got that armor to help them out, and they can absorb and fight against those Kree a little bit easier. Both players setting up for the creepin'. Now, this, again, is the oldest, most consistent map in the pool. You know, we've seen it since the early days, alpha, beta stages, and now we're kind of getting into it again. But look, the doggos are trying to identify and see what's going on, but we're going to get another free speed camp out of this. So the health camp goes to the right. If you're watching the mini map, you can see when your opponent is taking these camps, and we identify that and kind of understand where to go from here. Oh, the Kree coming in, trying to get some last hits, going right on the dogs, and you see them immediately get shredded. But a little bit different here with the Lancers. Now, 3 Kree versus 3 Lancers, who's going to end up winning? Defender's advantage is going to give things to, of course, our Kree, especially as they get to roll out and use that ability to get that extra armor. The Kree's not really hitting as much as you might like, but got to be careful. This Lancer very low. We'll be taking some extra. Nice little micro to make sure he is positioned in a safer spot here. So we will try to get him inside that bunker, be able to turn that into a buzzsaw cannon, and defensively able to secure this base a little bit easier. We're going to continue to SimCity wall it in a little bit and get ready for this next stages, which is, again, going to be that kind of heavier setup for the bio play. We're going to be going for the Lancer style here, an additional barracks, but we also need some doggos out there for the speed, for the vision, for the information that we can be able to utilize here. But because we chased and scared our opponents into the base, Garnath knows that he has free reign to kind of move about the map and do whatever he wants at this point in time. And that's what he starts doing, grabbing all the vision camps here, and we'll be able to kind of zip around now. He is still on one base, but we've talked about this before, is the amount of resources that you get from doing camps is better than it is for just getting an expansion right now. Will that change? Who knows? For the time being, that's the way it is. So at some point, you cannot sit here and sit idly by when your opponent takes everything. And oh my gosh, that is one way to sneak into a base. Says that's a cool wall you've got. What if that wall was gone? And look at this. The Lancer sees this, and now it's in that kind of panic mode. How well can I be able to get in here and deal with this? The Bob's coming off the line, but that Buzzsaw Cannon is not long for this world, and big overcharge gets used. Another sentry post coming in here. The Kree are slicing and dicing and trying their best here, but the next Buzzsaw Cannon is set up here, and these Kree are kind of trapped over here, forced to fight in this location here, but they're getting a lot of damage, taking out a lot of the Lancers to do it. Careful, there's that explosion. We'll kill you there. Oof. Next forward location setup. We're morphing in here. This is the base. This is our reinforcement. Same type of build that we got to see earlier, but is there enough defenses to hold the line here? More and more Buzzsaw Cannons getting added in here. Do we get any exos? They're on the way here. We need to get them out. We need these Lancers to kind of hold up as much as possible, but there's not a lot that we can do. So many troops are falling down, but we're going to be saying, okay, you're going to be going for a forward hard contain here. Whoa. Bob's just taking free damage. Abandoning ship. We are in this weird, awkward spot. Like, the Bobs need to find somewhere safe to be, but they cannot find it. And now the Kree still rolling in. But right now, defensively, or the defenses are still working out okay for Albino. He's taking a lot of damage, but he's not overreacting. He's not committing too much. And still just forcing, saying you cannot come up here. Again, all this time, though, we see that all of the resources are still in Garnath's favor, right? He's got all the camps up and running to help him out here. So more and more Lancers coming out, and we'll catch a couple of the Kree for free. Got to be careful, though. These units are very low in health, and that's what he's going to be relying on, is the fact that he's low in health. And, whoa, Lancer gets in safe and will be okay for now. No Exos able to get added in. We're all in on the Lancers. We need that meat shield, the wall to hold right now. And it looks like he's trying to see, can I move forward? Not yet. Do we just bunny hop sentry post here? Is that like the easiest way to like make sure we secure it? That's a lot of resources to do it. But he now is able to kind of get in and says, okay, good. I've held the line. You can't do much more here. You're forced to kind of go back and heal up. We see expansions getting added in here. Both collection arrays are now set up and running at the natural as well as the third base. So that's a big reason why we see this big influx of resources coming out here. But Kree holding. This is a scary spot now, this little avenue. I like that little maneuver of trying to clear up and get that set up using the Morph Core. Find another avenue, especially when your opponent has a wall like this. There's no way you're pushing through this. So finding extra avenues to attack is crucial. I like that we're so heavy in the bio here. We've adjusted our plays, right? We had to go for the Lancer. It's like responding and reacting to what our opponent is doing compared to just sitting here and doing my build and not worrying about my opponent. Kree take over and continue to be a nuisance out on the map. They've said, everywhere is mine. I'm going to roll around. I'm going to set this up and really punish you if you try to move out. But the Exo count is going to start building up. And that's the big thing that we're going to wait and see. Now, Exo are light. So if the Kree ever get on them, it's going to be really scary. All right, hydration break. Hydrate yourselves, y'all. Even RTS players need to drink water, especially us casters. Because all we do is sit here and talk about the game. But the next edition, the Cabal, is getting added on. We've seen how strong they are by having that slow abilities. But where do we go from here? How long are we going to stay on this? All right, the hangar bays, double hangar bays are going to get added in. I wondered if he was going to be able to transition up and start going into some Vulcans, start going for something like that. But we're not going to see anything along those lines. We're not going to see any Atlases. No big, heavy firepower. It's going, hey, let's utilize our Bioforce. And, ooh, Doggo's coming out, wants to get the information. What do we see? Lots and lots of production over here is what we get to see. So this gives us that kind of confirmation about you're powering up, and you've been powering up for a while, because that's what you're going for. And we see the army count is getting higher. The Argents are getting added in here. This is that difference that we were talking about before of like, okay, reacting to what you know your opponent's going to go for. They're going to be going for some air units. Let's make sure we have some extra anti-air in there just in case something happens to my Cabals. We want to be better positioned for that. All right. Double hangar back productions, getting the Hornets out here. Our bio count is still pretty solid. We're just continuing to add Exos, and so we're going to be relying on a meat shield of Lancers with the Exo support. But again, we cannot move out. It's not safe, right? So you see this big supply difference is because of just the amount of resources that our opponent has. And look at this. Revealing, trying to see what's going on. Oh my gosh. The anti-timing of the Hornets, that sucks. That sucks. Loses one for free, but sees just how big and scary this army is. So we're going to try to hold the line the best we can, but that is such a scary force. The Exos are going to be doing their best to try to kite back and utilize their DPS and their power here, but look at just how many Kree, how many Argents are here, and we're overwhelming the natural expansion here as we just continue to plow our way through. Take over this Vanguard location. Any units that try to spawn out are going to be picked apart. GG, well played, and good luck Albino is eliminated. Garnath takes the series 3-1, putting up great, excellent games throughout, representing 3D Clan, Albino representing Team Aftermath, but it was not enough with the support of their teammates to practice and prepare them for this. Came down to it. It was just the Celestials are a little bit stronger than the other factions at this moment in time. At least that's the way it is appearing in the tournament. As we went into it, we had quite a few players representing Infernal, and they've all been eliminated here. We are left with our top 4 was Mixu, a Vanguard player, Albino, a Vanguard player, Nicorakt, a Celestial player, and Garnath, a Celestial player. 2 players, our Vanguard players, got to this event by winning or placing highly, getting enough points in the weeklies and practicing that way to make it here. So good on them. Congratulations to them for putting in the work. Nicorakt and Garnath were on the other side of the things of not having enough points to qualify, so they played in the last chance qualifier last week to be able to get in and set themselves up to play in this event, and they are the 2 Celestial players that have made it to the top 4. Not only the top 4, Mixu, Nicorakt, and Garnath are our top 3 players in Season 1 of the Alpha Navigator Cup. What an awesome set of players here. I was so excited to be able to cast all this up and show you guys such a great storyline that's been built up between these players. Something that is a big part of RTS and casting in general is finding the storylines, and we've got such a great one here. Mixu got 2nd place in the Alpha Navigator Cup 0. Now he's trying to get his first title. He's trying to basically be the old guard of the weekly events, holding the line, trying to be the one to say, I've been grinding, I've been putting in the works. He had 400 points going into this event. The number 1 points, new point leader record holder for weeklies, where Nicorakt and Garnath were practicing other ways. They were doing ladder. They were doing all these other events to help them get the skills they needed to be top Celestial players. But will it be a Celestial versus Celestial grand final, or will our Vanguard player be strong enough to hold the line and be the one player that could defeat these players? Because we've been seeing them crush through, right? Nicorakt went undefeated so far to get into this upper bracket final, taking out Theory, taking out High, taking out Bose. All right. On the other side, Garnath has been going through it. Garnath lost to Snockstar in the first round and has climbed his way through the loser bracket. Beat Don Ilya, beat Kel, beat Night Phoenix, beat MSRM, and beat Albino. So has had the most games played in the tournament so far. So really cool, really exciting matches so far that we've seen. That is the end for today, though. That means that tomorrow we get to be able to watch the same awesome events.